Hello and welcome to another MiHow2 video with your host, Tony. Today we have with us a special guest, Mylan Tyrrell, National Accounts Manager for Belts and Chain over at the Timken company. Hey Mylan. So for this demonstration, just want you guys to know out there watching that we are not going to be wearing any PPE, but just know that you should always be wearing the proper kind for whatever your application needs. All right, Mylan, so I understand today we will be troubleshooting our chain drives, but here's the question. How do we know when our chain drives are in trouble?
Hi, Tony. Well, the most obvious way is if the drive stops running, but the best way is really just through visual observation.
Okay, so you mean just looking at it?
Yeah, the damage that occurs to the chain when a drive is worn or fails is very telling. Over the years, we had the opportunity to assist our customers with our expertise to help them achieve optimum life from their chain-driven equipment. Now today, I've brought some examples of damaged chain just to help your viewers make sure they don't run into trouble.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, some of the key elements you want to check in your drive are related to chain wear or damage, which is usually the result of problems with alignment, tension, environment, sprocket tooth wear, lubrication, drive interference, drive overload.
Wow, I mean, that sounds like a lot.
Sure is. So we're going to start by taking a look at an example of misalignment. Okay. This chain, for instance, shows how joints can tighten on a misaligned drive. Here we want to simply go back and make sure our shafts and sprockets are properly aligned.
Okay, well now that we've gotten that straightened out, what comes next?
Well, let's take a look at drive interference. It's often caused by an out-of-position drive guard or a chain rail, but it could also be from debris or other foreign objects. Here's an example of drive interference on a chain. It clearly shows damage in the form of either chips or scratches, or here, worn places on the chain that are a result of the chain coming in contact with an obstacle while it is running. Here, we simply want to remove the obstacle. Okay. Now, sometimes that's as easy as bending back our chain guard or repairing our chain rail, both of which probably should have been done anyways as they're a potential safety hazard.
And as we all know, Mylan, safety comes first.
Absolutely. So, Tony, the next thing we want to look at when evaluating a chain's condition is rust or corrosion.
Yeah, I mean, we know that things that are a little bit more rusty don't tend to work as well.
That's right. And a chain in a moist environment without proper lubrication is subject to rust. Sometimes to the degree that the chain or a portion of the chain will completely seize up and have to be replaced.
So what do you do in this case? I mean, the chain gets rusty. You just keep replacing it every single time?
Well, that is one solution, but you can also replace that chain with one of Diamond's corrosion-resistant chains with special materials or finishes for use in a humid or corrosive environment, such as a stainless steel chain or our Diamond Ace chain, which is a carbon steel chain with an anti-corrosion exterior.
Carbon steel chain with anti-corrosion exterior. That is a mouthful. But, I mean, it does sound like a great solution. However, I keep noticing this. It's not a chain, so what is this specifically?
Well, this is an example of tooth wear on a sprocket, which reveals a lot about the drive, typically because it can be a result of improper tensioning. You see, there are established tolerances that determine proper chain tensioning, and it's all based on the slack span.
On those, what now?
The slack span.
Slack
you see,
span.
You should be able to move the chain at the mid-span approximately 4 to 6% up or down in a horizontal drive like we have here, and if it's a vertical drive, approximately 2 to 3%. Another thing that can cause problems for a chain drive is overload.
Overload. Well, let me tell you, I had a big breakfast and I already know nobody wants that. But really, what is it?
Well, there are times when a drive is underspecified with a chain too small to handle the job, or it's a drive that gets a lot of shock to it, like on skid steers or motor graders. Basically, the chain is trying to pull a bigger load than it can handle, and one sign of this condition is turned pins. You see, when a chain is manufactured, the manufacturer will rivet the pins, and typically those lines run horizontal or parallel to the pin link plate. When a pin has too much load, it can actually rotate as it articulates over the sprocket. And you'll see those lines are no longer horizontal or parallel to the pin link plate. And that's an indication that the pin, the link, and really the whole chain has been compromised and should be replaced.
That is a pretty neat trick, and I guess, bear with me now, maybe that's where the saying comes from, a chain is only as strong as its weakest links. Am I right?
Sure.
All right, any other items that our viewers should know out there?
Yeah, they can find our maintenance guide on your website, which contains all that I've demonstrated here and more.
Well, thank you very much, Mylan. That was Mylan Tyrrell, National Accounts Manager for Belts and Chain over at the Timken Company, showing our viewers out there how to troubleshoot their chain drives by simply looking at them. All right, if you guys want any more information on this topic, contact your nearest Motion Industries branch. And for more videos with yours truly, go to MiHow2.com. As always, thank you for watching, but be sure to stay safe out there and wear the proper PPE.